Hello all and welcome back to another edition of So You're Interested In. This is the show where I go through and handpick different songs and albums that you should be listening to in order to get into a specific artist. This week's episode, if you couldn't tell already, is on IDLES. IDLES is a punk rock band from Bristol's United Kingdom and they formed around 2009. They have released 2 EPs, 2 full-length LPs, and are soon to be releasing a full live album. Well, plus that and a bunch of other singles. Even with their more poppy sound for punk, they still do have this rough around the edges feel. Their lyrical content ranges from being heavily political to these incredibly deep and personal stories that are full of sadness and depression. Without further ado, let's get into 2 albums that you should be listening to in order to get into IDLES. The first record you should be listening to in order to get into IDLES is Brutalism, their 2017 debut album. Well Done, the album's second track, goes back and forth with these pounding percussions and guitars. This is actually a great example of how IDLES choose to construct their songs as well as layer them in post-production, as they would do this a lot throughout the remainder of their discography. Not to mention the great lyrical content of fighting against the norm by going to college and following that career path when there are many other options in front of you. Mother is another fantastic cut from this record, as Joe Talbot, the lead singer of the band, tells about how his mother would work 50 hours a week so he could get where he is today. The mixing on this track also sounds fantastic with this thumping bass and shrieking guitar. And lastly, the final track that you should be listening to is actually the final track on the album, and that will be Slow Savage. It's a cathartic dirge where Joe Talbot talks about how much of a jerk he was to his ex-girlfriend. It's slow, it's stammering, and it's dreadful, but it's beautiful at the exact same time. Next, you should be listening to Joy is an Act of Resistance. This 2018 release was their breakthrough album to many new listeners, as critics lauded this album for its sharp and witty writing and fast and fun music. Danny Nadelko is one of the singles, and it is a necessary listen. It's all about fighting against the unwarranted hatred of immigrants and showing that they are no different from me and you. The song is infectious, making each listener want to get up and chant along with it. Next, Scum is another welcomed addition to their discography, as it talks about attacking one's liberal self and showing just how absurd it can be. Last but not least, Television is a roaring song on self-acceptance and care. Talbot sings about defying the norms that you see in mass media and just simply being who you want to be. Self-empowerment and the empowerment of others are such strong themes off this record, and if you can resonate with any of this at all, then I can definitely see you liking IDLES. Now let's get into some individual tracks. The first track to listen to is the IDLES Chant, off of their 2015 EP release, Meat. While this track isn't as fulfilling in terms of lyrical content, it makes up for simply how fun it is. Taking heavy influence from oi punk, the chorus is one that you would just want to get on top of the tallest building you can find and just scream it out in the middle of the day. This is a great example of what would come from the IDLES once they grew and matured. Next, you should be listening to their 2019 single Mercedes Marxist. Another politically driven track, this draws attention to the failing revolution of the Brits during the ongoing Brexit era. With lyrics like, "Forgive my crippled head, our revolution's dead, and they gambled all of our pride, they want money instead," shows that the backbone of IDLES lies within the disappointment of their leaders. Finally, you should listen to Colossus off of Joy as an Act of Resistance. This track can be considered a magnum opus for the band, as it is one of their most groundbreaking and innovative tracks to date. With 2 very distinct musical movements, the band puts together a rager of a song. Some of their best lyrics are hidden deep inside this track too, my favorite being, "I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, I put homophobes in coffins." Yet another victorious track from a band that is trying to mend and rebel against the broken government that they have to face each and every day. So that does it for another episode of So You're Interested In. All of the albums and tracks will be linked in the description below, so go check them out. Did I not mention your favorite IDLES song? If not, please leave it in the comments and I will definitely be checking that out. Until then, subscribe to the channel for more content that I'll be posting every Wednesday and Friday. And that's all that I got. Peace.